This is my first Vivid Vision. This is the piece of paper that I turned into a $45 million offer for my business in 3 years, and I'm gonna break down how you can set a Vivid Vision using the same exact process that I used. This is the most transformational document you could ever make if you are looking to expand or transform your life and take your life up to that next level. This is not a vision board. This is not goal setting, this is vision setting. So let me tell you how I learned this. In 2008, my family went bankrupt. And the reason they went bankrupt is because they didn't have a plan. They didn't have clear, measurable goals behind their business. So our family business went bankrupt. We lost everything. Everything we owned got repossessed. And I responded to that in the following years with horrific anxiety disorder. And it was because what I thought was a white picket fence middle-class life got completely ripped from me in a matter of days, really, when the recession hit. And I had this deep obsession of understanding, why did my family go bankrupt? What was the root cause? I was suffering from so much anxiety. I had to learn first how to overcome my anxiety. And really what I learned is the process of diversion. I picked up this book called The Linden Method from Charles Linden, and it talked about diversion. Distract your mind every time a negative thought comes up. I started practicing diversion, turning on loud music every time that a negative thought came to my mind. That worked to some extent to get rid of some of the anxiety. And eventually my anxiety symptoms went down a little bit, and I started telling myself, can I amp this up a notch? Can I, instead of just distracting my mind and using diversion, could I replace my negative thinking patterns with positive, goal-based thinking patterns? I started setting goals, and I started writing down this goal that I can make $400,000 in a year. Now, mind you, I am completely broke. I'm working construction for my dad, making $500 a week, doing work on his website, when really what that means is I was out on construction jobs and would spend 2 hours at the end of each workday going early back to his house where I was living, opening up my computer, doing YouTube videos on how to make edits on WordPress websites. I knew nothing. And I write down this crazy goal. I make $400,000 in 1 year. So then I think to myself, how in the heck am I gonna make $400,000 in a year? I have no skills or experience. And I see this Brian Tracy video, and he says, you need to learn sales if you want to make that much money. So I started applying to sales jobs. And the only sales job that responded to me, other than all of these door knocking opportunities. So I get a legit interview with yellowpages.com. It's a second round interview with the sales manager. And he asked me, how much money do you want to make, Bill, in your first year? So I'm practicing this goal setting practice. And I start thinking to myself, I'm going to be honest with him. I'm going to tell him what my goal is, $400,000 a year. So I tell him in the interview. And I remember to this day, he sat back, he looked at me, and he went, he laughed at me in the middle of the interview. He's like, there's no way you're gonna make $400,000. And I didn't laugh when he laughed, because I was dead serious about it. And I was practicing. I had already written down this goal every single day for a year prior to doing that interview. So I knew I was gonna make $400,000. And what happened at the end of my first 12 months at that job? I made $265,000 at that job. I didn't make the $400,000, but I learned the power of goal setting. Okay, fast forward to when I start SMB Team, my company, which is the Vivid Vision I'm holding. This is my first Vivid Vision. I tell myself, all right, I'm gonna try this stretch goal thing again. And I set a goal to do $500,000 with SMB Team in my first year. I had no business experience, I just had sales experience. I write down the goal every single day for a year. 12 months later, after I start, I didn't reach the goal again. But this time, I got further than I did in my sales job. And I made $466,000 in my first year in business. So I'm like, dang, man, I am rich. That is crazy. So I get to the end of my first year in business, and my team is starting to kind of like not like that I'm having all these goals, right? Because all the goals were focused around who? Me. So I started thinking to myself, all right, if I want to grow my business, I mean, my goal that I wrote down before I even started my business was to do $256 million in my business in the first 10 years since starting. I wrote that goal down, and I said, well, I have to at least get $500,000 in my first year, right? I realized that my team didn't like the way I was setting goals. So I had to learn about how to get buy-in behind my goals. And so what I did was I started reading books on core values and culture and how to get buy-in around my goals. And it all came back to this one word, vision. Fast forward to this talk show that I'm running a couple years in the business, COVID hits, and this app called Clubhouse blows up. It's like this interview app where it's like a radio show app. And I start this like talk show room called Marketing Mastery. And one day, John Legere, the CEO of T-Mobile, just happens to pop on to my Clubhouse room, and I start interviewing the CEO of T-Mobile. This guy's worth $400 million. And I'm like, dang, he seems like a normal guy just like me. Like maybe it's possible for me to actually reach this goal that I wrote down. And a few minutes later, it's like God or the universe, whatever you believe, just placed this human being in my life. Not John Legere, but this next person popped onto the app as a complete surprise, and his name was Cameron Herold. And he's actually the author of the book, Vivid Vision. And I didn't know this at the time, but I start interviewing him. He pops up on stage. I'm interviewing him with the CEO of T-Mobile. I'm bopping and boobing and going cool, blah, blah. And then Cameron Herold asked me a question in front of 400 people while I'm doing this radio talk show thing. And he asked, Bill, what is your vision for SMB team? And I'm like, I don't know, Cameron. I had no idea how to answer the question, right? And I'm like, holy crap, I've been setting goals this whole time, but I've never set a vision. It blew my mind. And at the end of my interview with him, he goes, you gotta read my book, Vivid Vision. So within 2 days, I pick up Cameron's book, I read it from start to finish in 2 days, and then I reach out to him. I'm like, I must get coached by Cameron on this Vivid Vision topic. And he's the former chief operating officer of 1-800-GOT-JUNK. He was the person who helped scale them from $2 million to $106 million in revenue in like 5 years. I'm like, I need to learn from this person. And it's a junk removal company that he scaled to $100 million. If you can do it in junk removal, you can do it in any business. Who the heck wants junk removal? He kept telling me the secret was the Vivid Vision. So I reach out to him, I'm like, Cameron, I read your book start to finish, and I need you to be my coach. And he goes, no, Bill, I'm not gonna be your coach because your company is too small based on the size of companies that I coach. I'm like, dang, I need to sell him on my Vivid Vision, right? So this is the first time I actually made my first draft of a Vivid Vision. Well, it didn't look that pretty. This was that first draft. It was just a Word document. There was no graphic design. There was no pretty imagery like you see on this. It was just a freaking Word document that told him I was gonna do $34.8 million by the end of 2023. And he reads through this and then he accepts me as his coaching client. But then he tells me, Bill, it's gonna cost you $50,000. $50,000 that I didn't have. I had to put on credit cards to hire him as my coach because I believed where I was going so much because my Vivid Vision told me where I was going. Long story short, Cameron Herold becomes my one-on-one coach. He's been my one-on-one coach for 3 years now. And we have been working on how to embed my Vivid Vision into my business, into all areas of my life. So I say to myself, once I have this Vivid Vision, I work on this with Cameron, we're like, okay, I need to roll this out to my team. I gotta start getting this Vivid Vision into other people's heads. What he tells me to do is send this Vivid Vision document to the 5 most important people in your life. And because I was working so much in my business, that ended up being 2 family members and 3 people in my business. And have them respond back to you on how they intend to make your Vivid Vision come true. How are they gonna be supporters of your vision? So I did it. I felt so stupid. I felt embarrassed that I was being so open about my goals. And holy crap, it was transformational. It changed my life to be completely open for the first time in my life about what I wanted and to be open with the 5 most important people in my life about exactly what I wanted. So I didn't feel like I had to hide anything. Changed everything in my life. And based on that response, I told myself, I'm gonna start rolling this out to employees on my team. And I rolled it out, and the response wasn't the same. I had some members of my team roll their eyes at it, say, oh, this seems like dreamy, this seems like manifestation, law of attraction stuff, blah, 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 blah. And you know what happened? Those people who criticized it, they ain't with my company anymore, okay? Because they weren't believers in the vision. Do you have believers in your circle, in your vision, right now in your life. You don't need to hide this from anyone. You need to be open about it. So we got rid of the people who didn't buy into it, and then we started embedding this into our recruiting process. We started having people literally read through our vivid vision in order to be considered to have an interview at our company, because we were so addicted to the concept of having people bought into our vision. This vivid vision now gets used in our entire interview process for our company. Every single person who applies to work with our company must read this. Business partners that I work with have to read this. Vendors that we work with have to read this. Friends of mine have to read this. Family members of mine have to read this. This document is me being open about where I am going in the future. So how do you roll one of these things out for your life or your business? There's two types of vivid visions. There's a personal vivid vision and there's a business vivid vision. So a personal vivid vision is where you definitely want to start. The personal vivid vision is something that you would only want to share to those most important to you, like family and friends and close loved ones, right? That's a personal vivid vision. A business vivid vision is a culture and recruiting document selling people to join your mission on where you are going in the future. The number one question that you have to ask in order to create your vivid vision is this question. 3 years from today, if I had no limits on my abilities, what would be true in my life or business? That's it. If I had no limits on my abilities, how much revenue would I be doing? How much take-home income would I have? How much free time would I have? How popular would I be? How healthy would I be? Anything that comes to your mind. If you had no limits on your abilities 3 years from today, what would be true for you? And what you do is you take off your shoes like a crazy maniac, okay? You walk through a grass field. I basically put on this disheveled sweater. I hadn't shaved in days. And I walked around this field like a homeless person with a notebook in my hand, and I wrote out every single thing that came to my mind in response to the question, 3 years from today, what would be true if I had no limits on my abilities? And I did this for my business. And I wrote, and I wrote, and I wrote, and I did it for 4 hours. I did it from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. on a Saturday morning. And I felt like I didn't get everything out of my head, so then I booked another Saturday morning, 7 days from that Saturday, and I did another 4-hour batch with my shoes off, with a notebook in hand, no computer, pen in hand, and I wrote everything that came to my mind. I wrote it out, I wrote it out, I wrote it out. And then after I did those 2 4-hour sessions and looked like this homeless person pacing through a field with my shoes off, I took everything that I wrote, and then I went through this process of mind mapping and bucketing. I bucketed everything that I wrote into buckets. What's everything that's income related? What's everything that's health related? What's everything that's client experience related? And I had bullet points from all these scribbles, and I had a category and bullet points. Category, bullet points. I ended up with like 7 categories and like 15 bullet points under each category. And then I opened up my laptop and I took these categories next to my open laptop and a Word document, and then I just typed the sections, these categories, I typed them into a Word document, and that became the rough draft of my vivid vision. And again, this is what it looked like. This is the raw draft of that before it got graphic designed, right here. Could anyone do this? Yes. It just requires writing and imagination. It requires you to get into an excited, enthusiastic state about your future and to document it. And then once you wrote this all out, ask yourself, how will I make this measurable? See, the key to the vivid vision process is you're not worried about the how-to. You're not worried about how you're gonna reach your vision. All you're worried about is getting your vision out of your head. Vision is not forecasting. Vision is not forecasting. Vision is deciding where you would be if you had no limits on your abilities. Deciding. Not figuring out how you're gonna do it. You're gonna figure out how you do it after the vision is clear. I have never known how to reach my visions. And now that I have accomplished everything that's in this 3 year ago Vivid Vision document, so this is my next one. Let me explain some principles from my next Vivid Vision. I have my core values, crystal clear on the front page. It says, the following is SMB team's vivid vision. This is a detailed overview of what SMB team will look, feel, and act like by December 31st, 2026. We are on a mission to help 10,000 law firm owners double their revenues, profits, and freedom in under 12 months. That's the vision of our company. Again, you can apply this to whatever your business or life goals are, right? Our core values, the operating behaviors of our company, we are clear about them. I am crystal clear about my revenue goals. I have nothing to hide, okay? These are my revenue goals for the next 4 years. 2023, my revenue goal is 30 million. 2024, 70 million. 2025, 140 million. 2026, $256 million. I got nothing to hide, man. I know why I do what I do. I want to have a $2.56 billion impact on the industries that my company, SMB team, has an impact on. And in exchange for me creating a $2.56 billion positive impact on the industries that my company touches, I want to deserve 10% of that as gross revenue for my company. And 10% of $2.56 billion is $256 million. I want to deserve $256 million as a result of the commission that I earn for the $2.56 billion positive impact that I have on the economy as a result of my company. That's the kind of stuff you get into in a vivid vision. That's big, unrealistic thinking. That's not figuring out the how-to. How am I gonna measure that? How exactly is that gonna happen? No, my job is to be the visionary of my life, to create the fuel, the intention, the purpose behind the vision of why we get up every day in our company. And hey, if you have the belief that, oh, I don't want to join a company that has financial goals like this, great, don't join our company. Like, you don't have to join our company. That's why we're open about this before people join our company. I have made the decision that I want to live a life transparent about my financial goals. I'm crystal clear on here what it means to be a part of our culture, right? I literally say in here, SMB team's culture, we are a team, not a family. We are a championship winning team of A players. Since the word team is in our name, SMB team, it's important to understand that we are a team, not a family. In a family business, you tolerate mediocre performance because you're related. Everyone is expected to be great in their roles, and since we expect a lot from you, we also pay you a lot, give you a lot of freedom, give you unlimited growth potential, and let you win when the company wins. I'm showing you how you create a vision behind your future. I don't care if you're in business. I don't care if you're doing this personally in your life. I don't care. What I care about is that you get crystal clear on where you're gonna be 3 to 4 years from today, and you follow the vivid vision setting process, and you create your version of this PDF document. You create your version of a documented proof behind where you will be 3 to 4 years from today. There is no excuse for you to not have documented goals and visions behind where you are going, depicted in such a way where other people can buy into those goals. There is no excuse in today's day and age for you to not have a clear vision that other people can buy into in your life. As we tie this video up, I wanna ask you a question before you sign off right now. And I wanna ask you, what date are you gonna roll out your vivid vision by? I don't want this video to just be passive learning for you. I want you to implement what I am telling you is the thing that has had the biggest transformation on my life. I want you to do this for your life. Can you set a date 2 or 3 weeks from today, the day you are watching this video, and reply back to me that you will have your version of a vivid vision rolled out? Okay, you can read the book if you have questions. I've given you enough information in this video for you to get started. So give me a date in the comment of this video. When will your vivid vision be rolled out and finished and finalized as a result of this video? It's my honor to serve you. I hope you got something from this. I hope you learned through my trial and error with the goal setting trap and learning the power of vision setting. And I hope you can implement this in your life to tie some measurable outcomes to your visions, your goals, and get buy-in, most importantly, buy-in behind the most important visions in your life. And I'll see you in the next video.